5 habits to stop immediately. She stared blankly at her phone, scrolling mindlessly through social media. It was a habit she'd developed over the years, and one she couldn't seem to shake. She'd tell herself it was just a quick check, but before she knew it, hours had passed, and she'd accomplished nothing. It's a common phenomenon, one that affects millions of people worldwide. We get caught up in the instant gratification of likes, comments, and shares, and before we know it, our days are consumed by the endless scroll. But what's the real cost of this habit? How does it impact our productivity, our relationships, and our mental health? Let's take a closer look at the effects of excessive social media use. Research has shown that constant exposure to the curated highlight reels of our friends and acquaintances can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self. We compare our behind-the-scenes moments to their seemingly perfect lives, and before we know it, we're convinced we're not good enough. But here's the thing. Nobody posts about their failures, their struggles, or their mundane moments. We only see the best of everyone else, and it's a recipe for disaster. We start to feel like we're living in a world of pretend, where everyone else is more successful, more attractive, and more accomplished than we are. It's a vicious cycle, one that can be difficult to break, but it's not impossible. The first step is to acknowledge the problem and take responsibility for our own behavior. We need to recognize that social media is just a tool, and it's up to us to use it in a way that serves us, not controls us. So, what can we do to break free from the social media trap? Let's start with a simple habit. The 5-minute rule. Whenever you feel the urge to check your phone, take a 5-minute break instead. Do something else. Anything else to distract yourself from the endless scroll. Go for a walk, do some stretching, or simply sit in silence. The 5-minute rule may seem like a small change, but it can have a significant impact on our daily lives. By taking control of our social media use, we can free up time and energy for more meaningful pursuits. We can focus on building real relationships, cultivating our passions, and developing a greater sense of purpose. But there's another habit that's even more insidious, one that can sneak up on us when we least expect it. It's the habit of multitasking, and it's a productivity killer. We think we're being efficient, that we're getting more done by working on multiple tasks at once. But the truth is, our brains aren't wired for multitasking. When we try to do too many things at once, we're actually decreasing our productivity and increasing our stress levels. It's a myth that's been perpetuated by the rise of technology, but it's a myth nonetheless. Research has shown that switching between tasks can decrease our productivity by as much as 40%. It's a staggering statistic, one that highlights the dangers of multitasking. So, what can we do instead? Let's start with a simple habit. The single task rule. Whenever you're working on a task, focus on that task alone. Don't check your email, don't take calls, and don't browse social media. Give your undivided attention to the task at hand, and watch how your productivity soars. It's a simple change, but it's one that can have a profound impact on our lives. By focusing on a single task, we can increase our efficiency, reduce our stress levels, and achieve our goals faster. But there's another habit that's even more destructive, one that can ruin our relationships and our careers. It's the habit of procrastination, and it's a silent killer. We put things off until the last minute, telling ourselves we'll get to it eventually. But the truth is, procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. It's a way of avoiding responsibility, of escaping the discomfort of failure. It's a pattern that's all too familiar, one that affects millions of people worldwide. We start with good intentions, but before we know it, we're stuck in a cycle of delay and avoidance. We're stuck in a rut, and it's hard to get out. So, what can we do to overcome procrastination? Let's start with a simple habit. The 2-minute rule. Whenever you're faced with a task, ask yourself if it can be done in less than 2 minutes. If the answer is yes, do it immediately. Don't put it off. Don't delay. Giusto? Italiano. The 2-minute rule may seem like a small change, but it can have a significant impact on our lives. By focusing on small, manageable tasks, we can build momentum and confidence. We can break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks, and make steady progress towards our goals. It's a simple formula, one that can be applied to any area of our lives. By focusing on small, achievable goals, we can build a sense of accomplishment and motivation. We can overcome procrastination and achieve our dreams, one small step at a time. But there's one more habit that's worth mentioning. one that's essential for achieving success in any area of our lives. It's the habit of self-care, and it's a must-have. We often forget to take care of ourselves, to prioritize our own needs and desires. We get caught up in the demands of work, family, and social media. And before we know it, we're burned out. We're exhausted, depleted, and struggling to keep up. It's a recipe for disaster, one that can lead to physical and mental health problems, but it's not too late to make a change. Let's start with a simple habit. The 10-minute rule. Whenever you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take 10 minutes to do something that nourishes your mind and body. It could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, going for a short walk, or practicing some gentle stretches. It could be as complex as meditating, journaling, or practicing yoga. The point is, self-care is essential for achieving success in any area of our lives. By prioritizing our own needs and desires, we can increase our energy, our focus, and our motivation. We can overcome obstacles and achieve our goals, one small step at a time. So, let's summarize the key takeaways from this section. We've identified 4 habits that can hold us back from achieving success: excessive social media use, multitasking, procrastination, and neglecting self-care. We've explored simple changes we can make to overcome these habits and achieve our goals. The 5-minute rule can help us break free from the social media trap and focus on more meaningful pursuits. The single task rule can increase our productivity and efficiency. The 2-minute rule can help us overcome procrastination and build momentum towards our goals. And the 10-minute rule can prioritize our self-care and nourish our minds and bodies. It's a simple formula, one that can be applied to any area of our lives. By focusing on small, achievable goals, we can build a sense of accomplishment and motivation. We can overcome obstacles and achieve our dreams, one small step at a time. Imagine living in a world where every decision you make is controlled by habits that secretly sabotage your success. It's a reality many of us face, but often don't even notice. We get caught up in the daily grind, and before we know it, our lives have become a series of unfulfilled goals and missed opportunities. Let's talk about one of the most prevalent traps we fall into: unrealistic expectations. We set ourselves up for failure by trying to achieve too much too soon. We create elaborate to-do lists, only to find ourselves struggling to keep up with the pace. We push ourselves to the limit, neglecting our mental and physical health in the process. The result: burnout, anxiety, and a never-ending cycle of disappointment. But why do we do this to ourselves? Is it a desire to prove ourselves to others, a need to feel superior? Or is it simply a misguided attempt to live up to an ideal that has been implanted in our minds? Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same. We're setting ourselves up for failure, and it's time to break free from this toxic cycle. Fear of failure is another trap that holds us back. We're afraid to take risks, afraid to fail, and afraid to look foolish in front of others. This fear can manifest in different ways, from procrastination to We get caught up in analyzing every possible outcome, and before we know it, we've missed the opportunity altogether. The fear of failure can be paralyzing, but it's also an opportunity to learn and grow. Then there's the trap of comparison. We compare ourselves to others, constantly measuring our worth against theirs. We see their successes and feel inadequate. We see their failures and feel superior. But what we often forget is that everyone has their own struggles, their own fears, and their own doubts. We're all in this together, and yet, we're so quick to compare ourselves to the highlight reels of others. The truth is, these habits are holding you back from reaching your full potential. They're keeping you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and uncertainty. It's time to break free from these traps and start living the life you truly desire. But how do you do it? How do you stop the habits that are holding you back? That's what we'll explore in the next section. Let's take a closer look at some of the most common habits that hold us back. One of the most insidious is multitasking. We're constantly switching between tasks, juggling emails, meetings, and deadlines. But research shows that this constant switching can lead to mental fatigue and decreased productivity. It's like trying to do too many things at once. You're not really doing any of them well. Imagine you're trying to cook a meal while watching TV and chatting with friends. You're not fully engaged in any of those activities, and you're probably not going to produce a great meal, a great conversation, or even watch a great TV show. Multitasking is like that, but with your brain, you're spreading yourself too thin. and you're not getting anything done. Another habit that holds us back is overthinking. We analyze every decision, every choice, every possibility. We weigh the pros and cons. We consider the what-ifs, and we try to anticipate every outcome. But this constant analysis can lead to indecision and inaction. We're so busy thinking about what might happen that we forget to take action. Perfectionism is another pattern that holds us back. We want everything to be perfect, from our work to our relationships to our appearance. But perfection is unattainable, and the pursuit of it can lead to burnout and missed opportunities. We're so focused on getting it right that we forget to take risks, to try new things, and to learn from our mistakes. It's time to break free from these patterns and start living a more intentional life. We need to be more mindful of how we're spending our time, more aware of our thoughts and emotions, and more willing to take risks. It's not going to be easy, but it's necessary if we want to achieve our goals and live the life we truly want. So, how do we break free from these self-destructive habits that have been holding us back for so long? It's a journey that requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Let's explore 3 key strategies that can help you shatter these habits and unlock a more authentic, fulfilling life. First, it's essential to identify and challenge negative thoughts that sabotage your progress. These thoughts can be incredibly persuasive, but they're often based on outdated, unrealistic expectations. By becoming aware of your thoughts and actively challenging them with more positive, realistic ones, you can begin to rewire your brain and develop a more optimistic mindset. Take Sarah, for example, who struggled with anxiety and self-doubt. She noticed that whenever she faced a new challenge, she would think, "I'm not good enough." But one day, she decided to challenge this thought by asking herself, "What evidence do I have that I'm not good enough?" She realized that she had accomplished many things in her life and had a lot to offer. By reframing her negative thoughts, Sarah was able to build her confidence and tackle challenges with renewed enthusiasm. The next step is to set realistic goals and take action towards achieving them. Break down big goals into smaller, achievable steps, and make a plan to tackle them one by one. This will help you build momentum and develop a sense of accomplishment, which is essential for staying motivated. Let's say you want to start a new exercise routine. Rather than trying to do an hour-long workout every day, start with small, manageable goals, like taking a 10-minute walk each morning. As you progress, you can gradually increase the duration and intensity of your workouts. By setting achievable goals and taking consistent action, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can make progress. Finally, it's essential to practice self-compassion and treat yourself with kindness and understanding. We often treat ourselves harshly, just like we would a close friend. But what if you could offer yourself the same kindness and support? By doing so, you'll be able to bounce back from setbacks, learn from your mistakes, and develop a more resilient mindset.